Hi Sewjourners, we're back in the sewing room today with a new technique for you. I was working on the Allegro Bottoms. This is a skirt. That's a pattern from Love Notions. And it's the ankle length skirt with side slits. And I needed to make a waist tie to go through these grommets. They're very, very small. And I don't like turning tubes. Who wants to turn a tiny tube? That's hard and it's not fun. So I'm going to use one of my attachments for the BabyLock Triumph using the cover stitch to show you how to make no turning tubes. Okay, so let's move over here and I'll show you what we're going to do. Now I have on my cover stitch, set up for cover stitch, is the knit woven bias binder. This is the smallest one. This is the 8mm bias binder because that will make the smallest tie. I needed to go through these tiny grommets here. Now I could have chosen the belt loop binders. That's other attachments, 2 other sizes that I have for cover stitch, which makes belt loops and a myriad of other things, but it's just too big for this particular use. So I thought, well, let's use our knit binder, our knit woven binder. We're working with woven today. So let's come back here. This is the 8mm. First thing you need to do is you need to cut a very long strip, much longer than your project will call for, because it's going to take you 6 or 8 inches for it really to get started and to get the right placement. So I have a very long strip here, and this is just for a sample. Now, 8mm means nothing to me as far as size, so how do I know how wide to cut that strip? I take my sewing gauge, and it's going to go through here, so I put it here and I measure. And that comes to 1 1/4 inches. So you need to cut your strip just slightly larger than 1 1/4. 1 1/4 will work too, but I made it just slightly larger. And then cut it to a point. This little guide here that you're just gonna weave the fabric through, that's going to help feed it evenly. So I have this through here, and now I'm going to use my tweezers. I cut it to a point, and I'm just going to feed it through. We're just going to feed it right through here. I have the wrong side facing me because this binder will turn each of the raw edges in on itself. The needle threads will be on the top side, the cover stitch will be on the underside. So wrong side facing me. We're going to pull this through, and if you can see here, these little channels are going to start to turn that fabric inward. Put it through and pull it through. And you see how that's turning? That's exactly what you're looking for. My needles are up, the foot is up, and I'm going to take this, hope it doesn't get in the way of the camera, and I'm going to pull, and they're turning all the way past the foot. Now I can scoot this under the foot. See if I can get my hands out of the way. It'll be much easier when you're not trying to film and sew at the same time. I'm gonna scoot this under the foot. There we go. And I'm gonna put my presser foot down. And now you always do a practice. Different fabrics act different ways, of course. The needles will go right into there. So let's take a few stitches. You can keep an eye on this, but this does a really good job of keeping it fed pretty well. And I'm gonna give it a try. I might even pull this back here. If I come around here, you can see that's not turning under here. And that's what this looks beautiful, but this needs to turn under. So I'm going to raise my needles, and this is why you cut a very long strip. And I'm going to come over here. There's a little guide right there. And I need to make sure that fabric is going to get turned by that little guide. So let's give that a little tweak and see if we can't make that happen again. All right, let's try that again. And I think we have it. As we come more and more, I'm gonna stop it. If you look here, look at that, right underneath. That's gonna be a beautiful tie. So I'm just gonna watch this and finish that. I have the needles set up here so that they go to the middle. And let me show you how to do that. Each one of these lines on the foot represents a needle position. So I have the 02 and 03 needles in. So therefore, I'm going to set up this guide just before that first needle so that it will stitch straight down the center. And sometimes you have to play with that. You just turn these screws and practice and practice. Look over here. These are all the practice strips I did until I got it right. None of these are right, but don't worry about that. Don't be afraid. Practice makes perfect. So now that we've got it going, let's do that. Turning tubes, one of my least favorite sewing jobs. And you'll just go and go and go and go. Let's take a look. This is the underside. It's so beautiful. This is the front. No raw edges. It's just beautiful. And you can go as long as you want. I'll just stop this right here. There's no sense of you having to hear any more of that. I'll cut that right off. Whoops. There we go. And we'll finish that stitch. And I'll bring this right around and cut that off. Let me show you this. What a beautiful job that does. And now all I have to do is cut it here, cut it there. And as you see here, I just turned it up, took a few hand tucks. It fed through beautifully. And even when it turns while you're wearing it, the cover stitch and the coordinating thread is so pretty. So this is the Allegro Bottoms ankle length skirt from Love Notions, a pattern that was just redrafted and retested and just re-released in sizes up to 5X. So I'm going to put the link for this pattern in the comments below. It'll be my affiliate link. My affiliate link just means that when you use that link to purchase a pattern, I receive a small commission at no charge to you. And I really appreciate that support. It helps me bring you this channel and all of these techniques and things that we do. Thanks.